It isn't what you don't know that gets you into trouble. It's what you know for sure that just isn't so. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and Master of Ceremonies. That was an amazing quote by Mark Twain. And the movie that I wish to speak about, The Big Short, starts with the same. I wanted to talk about the movie The Big Short to encourage my audience to stand your ground, no matter how many people, be it even experts, tell you that you are wrong. The movie is about the recession, 2007-8 global recession. Now, most of us were kids when the recession struck. As a result of the recession, so many people across the world lost their jobs, their livelihoods, their income, their hard-earned savings due to the recklessness and greed of few huge financial institutions in the United States. Now, how did this happen? How did this come to be? This all started in the 1970s when the bankers gathered together loans, housing loans, and they sold it to investors at a commission. Let's say a young couple, they want to have their own home. They want to have their own villa. So they go take a 50,000 BD loan. What the bankers did, what the investment bankers did was they combined together such loans of so many different people and sold it together to investors. Now, this came in billions of dollars, and this was known as collateralized debt obligations. At first, this was very safe investments because who wouldn't pay their housing loans? Everyone wants to own their home, so definitely everyone will pay. And as long as the borrowers pay the money, the investors will get the money. It was simple as that. But over the course of time, the banks were not able to find financially stable customers to give the loans to. So what did they do? They started lending left, right, and center flexibly. Even if the customer did not have a salary, even if they were unemployed, the banks still continued to give loans because they needed to sell it to the investors. Just like Jim Carrey in the movie Yes Man. So ideally, in an ideal world, the investors should be communicated that whatever they're pouring their money into, they might lose their money because the customers are not capable enough to pay them back. But what the investment banks and the credit rating agencies did was they marketed these investments as safe, as the most safe investment in the world, rock solid, AAA rating by the credit rating agencies. This was the catalyst for the financial disaster that happened. And the entire financial system, consisting of financial experts, credit rating agencies, banks, economists, no one could see a disaster of this proportion coming, except a few finance professionals. Now, how did they see this? How were they able to see what the entire world couldn't see? Because they kept their eyes and ears to the ground. They listened, they saw, they analyzed, and they embraced critical thinking. They poured all their investments into an instrument known as shorting, credit default swaps. Basically, they bet against the entire market, saying, you all are wrong, but we are right. And they had to face immense criticism for doing that. Financial experts, everyone didn't spare them. But they still held on. They kept on going. And in the end, they were proven right. And they got the financial reward for it. Now, the purpose of my speech is not to say that you have to stick your way through and you will get financial rewards. No, that was not the purpose. Rather, the purpose is sometimes when you have a vision, it could be an opportunity, it could be a threat, an inevitable threat, like the impact of climate change. When you see that and when you work towards that, there could be naysayers, there could be people all around you saying, disagreeing with you, mocking you, criticizing you, just like the way these few men did. But if you hold your way through, if you stand your ground, if you keep fighting, if you listen only to the analysis in your mind, there's a genuine possibility of you being right. This movie is filled with stellar star cast: Christian Bale, Ryan Gosling, Steve Carell, and Brad Pitt. And they have played an amazing part. And the main role of Michael Berry is played by Christian Bale. So I would highly recommend this movie. So my dear friends, keep fighting the good fight, open your mind, analyze, embrace critical thinking, and one day you will also be proven right. Thank you. Back to you, Master of Sermons.